I normally, I even text them, like, I'm only afraid of texting them, like, hey, can you please call me? You'll be fine. Yeah, like, I was very nervous my first time.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Must they send you to like what game they're gonna send you? Okay. No, I think it's the bank set. I'm doing university, I'm doing women on Sunday at university. 6:30. Oh, you're in Barton Park. It's the best, usually the best place to eat. Oh, this is yeah. There's pizza parking, it's amazing venue, you've got like a whole elevated area. Oh, no power there, it's costly. And it's nice to record there because it's perfect sound.
Forget the easy one for the start.
Yeah, this is also good. It's pretty much the same kind of distance over there. It's hardly out there. It's a bit.
Yeah, it's not down there. It's
Chinese careful, like one step careful. This after like famous, there's big matches. I went there in the derby, the two commentators were kind of siblings. So it was like
gentlemen, welcome to tonight's round 18 match between Sydney FC and Northwestern Sydney Spirit FC. Sydney FC currently sitting in 9th place with 21 points, after 6 wins, 3 draws, 7 losses. They have 1 game in hand. NWS Spirit FC are also on 21 points in 10th spot on 4 against. Spirit have had 6 wins, 3 draws and 8 losses. Leading goal scorer for the home team, Sydney FC, is Mitchell Glasson with 7, and Jack Coulton with 5 is Spirit's leading goalkeeper at this stage. While the stats proved to a pretty tight, enjoyable match tonight, we'll soon have the squad list for you for the starting.
Oh yeah, when I go down. Yeah.
They normally do live, line up, say I and everything.
Yeah.
And there's the coin flip, which is always good to get.
Is your line you? No. Oh, you would have liked it. Yeah, that's got a couple of them.
Normally, now it's charging it. Once it fully charged, it is connected. So you're gonna be that like goes all the way down here. I have to, which is my works. I asked for that.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have the starting lineups now. Firstly, with the visiting team of the Sydney Spirit FC. Number 1, Christopher Marquez. Number 2, Aidan Stokie. Number 4, Brady Smith. Number 6, Corey Kavanagh. Number 8, and Captain Green Cornwell. Number 10, Costa Petraros. Number 11, Khan Nenzan. Number 13, Simon Nicholas. Number 17, Riku Kabayashi. Number 18, Andre Takami. Number 22, Stavros Serkis. The away of the subs for the away team, number 3, Ty Williams. Number 5, Owen Henderson. Number 12, Jay Coates. Number 14, Benjamin Guru. Number 15, Sam Armson. Number 19, Zane Walia. Number 32, Thompson Mason. Northwestern Sydney Spirit, coached by Sergio Malfara. Now for your home team, Sydney FC. Number 1, Gus Husflute. Number 2, Rich Farias. Number 8, Samuel Lancaster. Number 10, Tay Headley. Number 14, Jared Middleton. Number 16, Miles Milner. Number 18, Ethan Dyer. Number 19, and Captain Mitchell Glasson. Number 21, Zachary Jesus. Number 27, Lachlan Middleton. And number 33, Aaron France. Substitutions for Sydney FC. Number 4, Calvin Marshall Webb. Number 6, Nicholas Calder. Number 7, Jordan Grayroski. Number 9, Zach Fowler. And number 30, Alexander Gavadinas. Sydney FC, coached by Jimmy Van Wieren. The match officials this evening. In the centre we have Jackson Tippett. His ARs are Alessandro Milani and Blake Sanchez Cruz. And your fourth official is Alex Zastankovic. Sorry if I mispronounced that one. I'm sure it'll be a great game. Enjoy. Cheer loudly.
Hey mate, you can start whenever you want, okay? Whenever you want.
kick-off in the opening game of round 18 in NWS New South Wales. CFC against Spirit Chester points at 3 p.m. kick-off. They're not too far away. Spirit lost 27, 18 in the tunnel. So here are both teams in the tunnel and we're ready to get started at Rockvale tonight. Sydney FC at home against the Sydney Spirit. Round 18 of NPL New South Wales second kick-off with this Friday night contest. The important game for both teams is Sydney FC sitting back from the table against 10th placed Spirit.
Ladies Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the teams out onto the field. North Western Sydney Spirit FC and your Sydney FC.
Both teams able to wear their home kit for this one tonight. North Sydney Spirit in the yellow, Sydney FC in the blue. So handshakes taking place. Let's take a look at the lineups for tonight's match. Sydney FC goalkeeper number 1, Russell Swoop, 3, Rick Reese, 8, Sam Lancaster, 10, Tay Henley, 14, Jared Watson, 16, 18, Dyer, 19, Glassman, 21, Zach DeJesus, 27, Lachlan Middleton, and 33, Baron Francis. 3 ins from last week's team, Farias, Milner, and DeJesus into the starting 11. And added to the bench, Caleb Marshall-Wood and Junior Conde, along with Alexander Zapdinos, Nicholas Calder, Jordan Borowski, and Zach Fowler. Out of the team this week, Tyler Williams, Nico Alfaro, and Matthias McAllister. For Northwest Sydney Spirit, a completely unchanged 11 from the side that lost 2-1 to Apia Leichhardt last Saturday. Goalkeeper Chris Marks, 2, Aidan Mustafi, 4, Brady Smith, 6, Corey Kavanagh, 8, Grant Cornwell, 10, 11, Carter Nizam, 13, Simon Nicholas, 17, 18, Sam Armson, 19 Zain Alawalia, and 32 Thomas Mason. So, all in readiness for kickoff then. And underway at Rockdale for the first game of round 18 in NPL Men's New South Wales. And an early free kick. Sydney FC coming off a bit of a stunning result last week where they were beaten 6-0 by the Western Sydney Wanderers. They'll be hoping to bounce back here tonight. Corey Kavanagh standing solo over the set piece, and this really would set the tone for Spirit coming here to Rockdale tonight. A little breezy, but not particularly cold, and not a cloud in the sky, even though we are under the artificial light. So here's Kavanagh. No thoughts of going direct on target. Swings it into the 6-yard box, and then headed away in toe poked clear. Not emphatically, as possession is collected by Simon Nicholas, and then out to the right from Serpez. And now Khan Nizam, last week's goal scorer against Apia Leichhardt. It was heartbreaking stoppage time for Spirit, as they were headed late by Apia in a come-from-behind win. We'll check in with the table in just a moment. Good evening to those of you watching, and apologies if you missed the lineups with my volume a little low earlier in the night. I'll run through the lineups again for you when we get a chance and a break and play. You can check them out as well on the dribble of NPL New South Wales. The lineups are there. Right now a body check from Ethan Dyer, rather solid through Costa Petrados. Sydney FC pressing aggressively, and late contact on Brady Smith. We're going to see a card in the first minutes of the game. The referee is going to just use discretion here and give Mitchell Glasson a telling off. Perhaps wouldn't have been surprised if a card had come out even in just the 2-minute mark of the night. He was late there. Tonight's referee is Jackson Tippett. Assistants Alessandro Lana and Blake Sanchez Cruz. And here's the restart of play, taken by Chris Marks out to the right wing. So a physical opening. It was a fun under-20s game as well prior to this one, with Spirit scoring late to win 2-1. Pretty willing contest as well, so maybe setting the tone for the night here at Rockdale as the wind just picks up ever so slightly. Looking at the corner flags, it's not really favouring one end or the other at present. As the Mustafi plays it back to Brady Smith at the centre of defence. Now a touch for Andre Takami. Takami looking for Petrados. The ball headed away by Farias. Bursting through midfield, Grant Cornwell. Now he's going to steady on the ball and send it out to the right. Can't quite connect out there with Riku Kobayashi. So just repeating the lineup: Sydney goalkeeper Gus Herfsloot, 3 Reef Farias, 8 Sam Lancaster, 10 Tay Headley, 14 Jared Middleton, 16 Miles Milliner, 18 Ethan Dyer, 19 Mitchell Glasson, 21 Zach de Jesus, 27 Lachlan Middleton, and 33 Marin France. In the starting 11, 3 changes: Farias, Milliner, and de Jesus coming in for Williams, Alfaro, and McAllister from last week's team. And Spirit with an unchanged starting 11 from last week. Chris Marks in goal, 2 Aidan Mustafi, 4 Brady Smith, 6 Corey Kavanagh, 8 Grant Cornwell, 10 Costa Petrados, 11 Khan Nizam, 13 Simon Nicholas, 17 Riku Kobayashi, 18 Andre Takami, and 22 Stavros Serpes. A draw tonight would do nothing to either team's position on the ladder. They both start on 21 points, with Sydney FC slightly in front on goal difference. That would leave them at 9th and 10th if they were to draw tonight, but a win for either team could take them level on points, at least, with the Western Sydney Wanderers, albeit with Wanderers having a considerably better goal difference of plus 15. Wanderers currently occupying 6th off the back of their massive win in the Battle of Academies last Friday. And I was told pre-game to expect a very different Sydney FC tonight, not just because of the sting of being beaten by the Wanderers so emphatically, and 10-0 on aggregate over the 2 head-to-head meetings this season, but also because a lot of the team went to Auckland for the A-League Grand Final and then backed it up with the sky blue ball the night before last Friday's game. Whether that's reasons or excuses, you be the judge, but I've been told to expect a much stronger performance from Sydney tonight. Defence is where it'll have to start, and they're on the ball right here with Reef Farias, one of the ins that's come into the starters tonight. Here's Dyer at the centre of defence. Quick 1-2. Tough pass for Lachlan Middleton to do anything with, but that'll be a better outlet now for Sam Lancaster. He moves the ball through the right. Here's Zach de Jesus, dispossessed. Strong stand-up tackle from Mustafi. Mustafi with a switch of flanks and a solid defensive header coming from Jared Middleton back to his goalkeeper. Here's Farias again, trying for the incisive pass up the middle. A little back heel off was clever. Marin France trying to take a sidestep and then appeared to grab the Spirit player in Corey Kavanagh, but no foul was given. Perhaps Kavanagh losing his feet too easily for the referee's liking. Here is Farias. Jared Middleton out to the left flank. Petrados prevails in the midfield battle, sending the ball out to the right with advantage. However, Spirit aren't going to capitalise on it, and it's going to be popped out for a throw-in for Spirit in their attacking half. The two coaches tonight, Sergio Malfara of Spirit and Jimmy Van Veeren of Sydney FC. Here's Simon Nicholas. Mustafi. Petrados tried to roll his marker at the edge of the box, the little raised back heel. Simon Nicholas takes possession. Deflected cross. And Kavanagh and Mustafi. Nicholas. Spirit keeping the ball on their left flank. Now Takami. Sydney FC able to keep their shape and stand and watch as Spirit play it all the way back to their goalkeeper and reset. Now Cornwell, the long ball out to the left. Only the Khan Nizam can bring it down successfully. He had De Jesus on his case the entire time. And the ball is repelled away once again. But after the initial settling phase, it does appear as though Spirit are trying to dictate the opening minutes of this game. From the base of midfield, Andre Takami happy to play it back to Brady Smith. Now long ball through the right channel. Asking a lot of the winger breaking onto it here, Stavros Serpez. Hasn't quite been able to out-wrestle his opponent, but Kobayashi's done brilliantly. He goes to ground. The referee has a good long look. And pays only a goal kick rather than a penalty. A little bit of theatre to it there from Jackson Tibbett. Kept everyone guessing, but weighed up the appeals for a penalty kick and turned them down. And that was the first meaningful involvement of Riku Kobayashi in the game tonight. He is the top scorer for Spirit this season. They've been a little bit goal shy. Only hit the back of the net once in their last 4 games, twice in their last 6. 18 scored for the season. He's got 5 though, so perhaps the main outlet to drive them forward tonight. No shortage of talent in that front line. Costa Petrados here on the ball as well. Cornwell. And now Serpez. Leads up a first only ball, and it's been nicked away by Glasson. He's trying to get back ahead of the ball now for De Jesus to find it. Glasson with Headley now. Advanced in the middle. Glasson decides to stay wide. De Jesus flips it across, and that's catching practice. A nice easy one to get the eye in there for Chris Marks. Sydney FC playing a front three with Marin France more on the right side, Glasson in the middle, and Tay Headley in the number 10 shirt over on the left. Zach De Jesus will need no invitation to get forward on the overlap and give Sydney FC some numbers on the right flank if the chance is there. Nicholas. Sydney to the left for now, Spirit. Kavanagh. Now, the last time these two teams met, back in round 2, it was a bit of a stunner at the time at Christie Park. It was 4-0 to Sydney FC. Of course, only early days back in February. That night, or afternoon, I should say, Glasson scored a double. Lacey and Lockie Middleton were the 3 goal scorers. So Mitch Glasson's got happy memories of playing against Spirit. He's netted 5 times for the season since, so 7 in total is Sydney FC's top scorer in NPL this campaign. Next highest is on 3, so he has been their primary outlet. Here is Lockie Middleton now. Farias. De Jesus, wide on the sideline. Cuts inside. France almost left the ball behind. Glasson looks up at a crowded defence. France trying to find a way with Glasson. He doubles back onto his right side. And now De Jesus the outlet once again. Headley has come over to the right flank to help out. Tay Headley skips around a defender. Went to ground rather slowly. Don't have to convince the referee there was a foul. Lancaster, a bending ball and a header in. And Mitch Glasson's outstanding form against Spirit continues. It's the early goal for Sydney FC, and they lead in just the 13th minute.
Sydney FC from number 19, captain Mitchell Glasson.
Mitch Glasson's got his 8th of the campaign and his 3rd of the season against the Spirit. He has picked up where he left off at Christie Park all the way back in round 3. And so the gauntlet is thrown down to Spirit here, away from home on a Friday night. And Sydney FC, they were the ones coming in tonight looking for a big turnaround in form and fortunes. Having been on the wrong side of a 6-0 defeat last weekend, they have started well here with a goal in just the 13th minute. Let's see what sort of a response we get. The early goal could turn this one into a bit of a shootout, which would be a rarity for these two teams this season. They've been a little bit more goal shy than they would have liked, but perhaps this could tempt them both out of their shells to really go for it this evening. Nicholas, you see Glasson is full of confidence. He's pressing all the way up to Brady Smith, making it difficult for him. Cornwell, long ball down the right, headed to safety. Not quite. Middleton had just held up and stayed in, and so a battle ensues. Kobayashi not able to take the ball with him as he rolled through. And a foul for a little ankle tap in there. Suspect against Takami out of that midfield muddle. De Jesus. France loses a show of strength. No foul. Has to bounce back to his feet with a rueful shake of the head. Spirit looking to counter-attack. And Mustafi being able to win a throw-in rather than a free kick. So on the live table, that does put Sydney FC up to 24 points. They'd be sitting 7th, a point ahead of Sutherland in 8th, and level on points with Western Sydney Wanderers, albeit with a negative 3 goal difference compared to that of plus 15 for the Wanderers. So quite the contrast, but that's what's on offer for them tonight if they can win. They have taken some scalps this season. I was here when they were able to beat Marconi 1-0 at this venue earlier in the campaign. Albeit some time ago now, that was back in round 4. Spirit looking for a greater midfield presence at the moment. The defenders have largely been knocking it amongst themselves, but unable to find any gaps so far in the Sydney unit. And the aerial ball has been their main get out of trouble answer. Petratos made a contest. That helped. Nizam and Petratos and Mustafi. Now Kavanagh. And again, Sydney sticking to task and forcing Spirit backwards all the way to their goalkeeper. Another long ball here. De Jesus, and he's cleverly been able to win a goal kick with the last touch coming off Aidan Mustafi, who was getting forward. But at least in the first 15 minutes, that is perhaps the diagnosis of the state of the game, that Spirit need to just find a greater central midfield presence, particularly in the attacking half at the moment. Otherwise, they are going to be resorting to long balls, potentially down both the wings for any sort of attacking penetration. Here is Middleton, clipping it over the wing. Flag up on the near side touchline, and the first offside of the night.
here's Nicholas. And again, decision time on where to play the ball. Sydney happy to stand off almost to halfway and wait for Spirit to make a choice on exactly how they're going to try to attack them in their pursuit of an equaliser here. Kavanagh. To Kami. Trying to speed up the play. Kobayashi, better from Spirit. Through the right, Serpes. Sweeps in across. And clears all attackers bar one. And then De Jesus found himself in a contest with Mustafi. And Mustafi trying to bring down a high ball. Can only guide it out for a throw in. Middleton. Now Lancaster. Headley dropping a little deeper. Sydney getting to enjoy some time in possession. Spirit sitting quite deep at the moment. Middleton. A sweeping cross. Glasson the target. Up for the header. Barely a glancing touch. And the call is a goal kick. Nicholas. Through the left side. Petratos. Ball cleared away from him by De Jesus, who's had plenty to do in these first 20 minutes in a defensive sense. And now here goes Marin France. He's got two opponents trailing him. France cuts it back. Farias. Dyer and Farias. Lancaster. He's a natural left footer, Sam Lancaster, and he's used it nicely there to pick out Lockie Middleton. Farias. Back to Dyer. Long chain of passes for Sydney FC. Headley. Brings the ball under control on the synthetic. Cuts it inside. Block tackle comes in. It was a good lunge from Kavanagh, and he did enough to interrupt Sydney FC and win the ball back for Spirit here. Now they can load through the right channel. Serpes sets away Cornwell. Grant Cornwell plays it to Kobayashi. He's turning, but Jared Middleton has the angles covered, so Kobayashi retreats. And now Kobayashi. Quick network of passes and breaking through the right. Serpes lifts across in. Herfslet watches it land in the penalty area. It was 2-on-1 at the fall of the ball, and Sydney's numbers got it away. Mustafi. Well, a couple of times now, Savros Serpes has been able to get through the right channel and put in a cross, but they haven't quite been exactly where the Spirit attackers have needed them so far. And now Sydney FC will switch and look to attack through their left. Glasson, the goal scorer. Sizing up Cornwell, cuts onto his right. Headley turned on the ball in the area and then was pickpocketed by Brady Smith, but his clearance can't find a teammate, and so it is seized upon by Gus Herfslet, who's come well out of his line here. No one was herring after the ball for Spirit to make that a dangerous potential counter. And now through the left, Marin France leaves the ball with Glasson. France, not tempted by a long shot. Middleton, now De Jesus. Back to Lockie Middleton. he was fashioning to shoot. You could tell it was in his thoughts as soon as he took possession of the ball, but he's lifted that high and out into the construction site, which if you haven't been to Illingdon Sports Centre in recent weeks is considerably more dug out of the area behind the right of screen goal than when I was last here about 5 or 6 weeks ago. They've actually fenced off the entire area now, so you can't actually walk around the perimeter of the ground anymore because the construction area has grown in size and hazard. So hopefully someone here with a bit of local knowledge will know how to go and retrieve the ball. Otherwise, we're going to be one short for the night. So Spirit still looking for a solution in midfield at the moment, just to try and possess the ball in more dangerous territory. We're about a quarter of the way through the night's action. Sydney FC with the only goal. Petratos, a nice pass into the path of Serpez, and the flag is up. And so even though he had been making good headway down that right flank, he is foiled by the offside flag on this occasion. Sydney FC perhaps awake to the danger that he is increasingly starting to pose in this game. France. Glasson in his own defensive half. Lancaster, Middleton, and now Headley. Farias. Now Jared Middleton. Plays it to Headley. Lancaster. And De Jesus. One thing that has been noticeable so far in the game is how interchangeable Sydney FC's attackers have been. We've seen Tay Headley roam to the right, we've seen Marin France pop up on the left, and we've seen Mitch Glasson drop back into midfield, so they're certainly not afraid to try a different look or have players roam out of position. They're all back holding the positions they started the game in here as they watch Spirit venture high and long down the left. Mustafi made a good contest, but first to the spill is Lockie Middleton, and now he's barged through from the back by Mustafi with no protests from the Spirit player in the foul given. Jared Middleton drifting left. Dyer, Middleton. Now Headley cutting in from the left sideline. Headley. Lancaster. De Jesus perhaps his only option. Spirit laying in wait. Who's going to win the ball back and help them try to launch a counter here? Right now, Sydney FC working the ball from side to side. Squeezed through a gap. Middleton tried to glance it on, and now a defensive header from Grant Cornwell back to his goalkeeper, Chris Marks. But it won't allow Spirit to counter at speed here, and again, they will have to construct, starting on the last line and building out from the back. Cornwell getting hurried up by the Sydney press here. Marks taking no risks. He just clears high and wide. flag is up. And that is going to be offside because when the ball was played by Chris Marks, the player who came back to contest it had been in an offside position up in his attacking half. Farias. High ball, Cornwell comfortable underneath it, nods it down. Serpez. And Cornwell strikes it long. Petratos the target and headed away by Farias. Second ball won by Sydney FC. Lancaster and Lockie Middleton combining. Well, De Jesus is disappointed that Sydney FC chose to attack down the left flank when he was perhaps free over on the right. Through that more crowded left side. Here's Lancaster, and he's given the ball away. Only Petratos ahead of the ball for Spirit, so he's going to have to find someone getting forward in support. Kobayashi now with a diagonal ball. Headed away by De Jesus, and bursting out of the defensive third is Glasson. France weaving through. And now he turns and plays it to Glasson. Can he turn and run? He's still got Brady Smith to deal with, though, and Smith is able to hold him up. De Jesus prods across. It's blocked away. And then too much grabbing and grappling from De Jesus, and he fouls Mustafi down at left back as Spirit would see it. Nizam plays it back to Nicholas, and now Brady Smith. Kobayashi. The ball knocked off his feet. Physical stuff at the moment. He's getting back, trying to make amends, and he's helped out in combination with Cornwell to spill the ball. Now Khan Nizam. Mustafi. Got a Sydney FC player down, and the referee is going to whistle play to a stop here. Must admit, I did not see exactly what caused Mitch Glasson to go to ground. Got the advantage of having the stream open here, so I can have a second look. He loses the ball, and then, just goes down to his haunches and takes a seat with no one within a 5 metre radius. So that is a worry for Mitch Glasson. Clearly something has felt a bit off, and the trainer is now out to attend to him. So we're going to have almost a strategic timeout here at the half-hour mark for Glasson to receive treatment, and quite a number of players have made their way over to the sideline to receive a bit of a briefing. And the only goal scorer of the game is our player down at the moment. Referee on the scene, looking at the Sydney FC bench tonight. Outfielders Kalen Marshall-Witt, Nicholas Calder, Jordan Grorowski, Zach Fowler, and Junior Conde. It looks as though a thumbs up has come from the physio, though. Glasson still looking a little bit proppy as he does walk over to the sideline on the outer side. So we're going to have a drop ball to restart play. Glasson wants to come back on immediately. Of course, if this were the World Cup, he would have to wait for at least 60 seconds. But he's been waved back on immediately. Fourth official over on the opposite side of the pitch. But it's 11 versus 11 for... It was barely a player disadvantage for a handful of seconds. And the ball is going to be finding its way over to the side of the pitch Glasson is on. Maybe not, because Middleton wants to swerve and break into the middle. He's got eyes for De Jesus over on the right. This will lure him into the corridor, and he's able to skip past a challenge here to Jesus, but has his run halted there by Corey Kavanagh, who was able to strip the ball away. And now Kavanagh back to Nicholas. Mustafi Petratos blocked as he tried to send the ball forward. He gets a second chance though. Kavanagh, Kobayashi, tough pass to control, and he's racing for the ball, and desperation there from Jared Middleton to lunge in and stop his advances towards the target. Not able to pull the trigger on a shot. And again, Spirit starting to maybe build, look a little bit more dangerous. Long ball from Nicholas, and didn't quite have the direction to cause any real panic in the Sydney defence. An easy collect for Gus Herfslett. Middleton. Pass intercepted by Brady Smith. Middleton again. High off the chest and then through with a forceful header to Kami. And then possession volunteered straight back to Sydney FC. Just isn't quite happening for Spirit at present. They've got 10 minutes of regulation to go in the first half though, to try and click. Lockie Middleton round the corner, Lancaster, another left-footed through ball, and Nicholas closed the gap and was able to clear away before Headley could get a run at it. Cornwell, composed, plays the ball to Smith. Smith up the middle, Petratos his target. Petratos watches the ball break out to the right, and, well, it looked like he got a bit of attention there from Ethan Dyer, but play continues. Right up to the limit of a foul there, you'd have to think, from Ethan Dyer, but the referee held the whistle and decided to let play unfold. Cornwell can't find his arm. Following through was Kavanagh. And good energetic play from France. He went flying. Glasson. Now Sydney able to calm things down. Milner plays it back to Dyer. Now Middleton. Farias taking the game on. Tay Headley's popped up on the right side. Sydney trying to create an overload. And Mustafi having none of it. Shallow clearance though. Lancaster and France. Now Farias. Here's Marin France. Glasson. He's ushered away from the target. Lancaster. Oh, Glasson's still looking a little sore. He actually jumped. Maybe related to the treatment he was receiving a moment ago, but the ball remains live at his teammates' feet. Farias. Lancaster with a long ball, asking a lot of De Jesus here, and off the synthetic. That one will run long out for a goal kick. Petratos, a long way from the goal he wants to attack. Nicholas back to Marks. A long ball to be pursued down the right side. Cornwell cuts it across. And a shot from Kavanagh, blocked high. It remains in the penalty area. Kavanagh contesting. Sydney FC have numbers around the ball, and much to the displeasure of the Spirit players, the referee has found a foul. And so Sydney FC will break out of defence and away from danger in the blink of an eye. Marin France on the move. And they've got numbers committed forward here, Sydney FC, but that pass won't bring any of them into play. Mustafi careful not to concede a corner kick. And Cornwell scoops the ball out for a Sydney FC throw-in. Offside flag is up. And so the forward venture of Tay Headley there will come to an end. In fact, it was Miles Milner on the overlap there who got trapped offside the left back on that occasion. Chris Marks has wandered right up into the midfield third here, daring the press to come for him. And now they get interested here, Sydney FC's front three. Marks still not quite back in his penalty area. And a hurried clearance away from Mustafi, bouncing on Nizam, tried to shape it off the chest down towards Petratos, but it didn't work out. We're going to see a hopeful volley, struck well wide to the left from Tay Headley there. He saw the goalkeeper, Marks, who'd been venturing off his line in the last minute or so and tried to lob it over him, but he just didn't strike it truly, and he hooked it out for a goal kick. Cornwell, high ball, good defensive header by Dyer. Headley trying to out-sprint the backtracking Takami, and a little misplaced 1-2 will allow the Spirit players to get in position behind the ball. Headley trying to keep the attack moving at pace, and a steered volley back to the goalkeeper from Mustafi. No questions about a back pass. Well, one question. James Slaveski, one of the assistant coaches, is up speaking to the fourth official here about whether or not Mustafi's little guide back to the goalkeeper there merited a back pass, but referee's decision is final out on the pitch. And a misplaced pass there, accompanied by an apology from Ethan Dyer. So, in the dying minutes of the first half, can Spirit find a way through the Sydney defence? A high ball here, headed on by Kavanagh and seized upon in midfield. Lockie Middleton with a bustling run out in front of Marin France. He had to commit to the ball. Mustafi, I think, beat him to it. And thus, the referee well placed there to make the right call. It was a foot race. France was charging, but Mustafi got back to the ball first. Nizam, Nicholas, and Kavanagh around the corner with a high looping ball. Knocking it down was Mustafi. Kobayashi came across, and the backspin's going to keep it in here to the advantage of Petratos. He takes it down to the corner. Mustafi, and now Takami finds Petratos. Good passing combination from Spirit. Can they turn it, though, into a shot on goal? Mustafi, and now Takami. And a bending shot. Oh, Kobayashi. I don't think it was intended to go anywhere near him when it left the boot initially of Khan Nizam, but it nearly fell kindly for him. And it's been scrambled out for a corner kick, and maybe this will be to Spirit's liking. Khan Nizam, last week's goal scorer, tried to go for a bending shot, and it very nearly turned into a forcefully struck through ball. So, Petratos wasting no time over the corner kick. Low to the near post and half volleyed away. A corner that really failed to trouble the Sydney defence. Brought down by Serpers. Sliced into the midfield for Kavanagh, but he's going to knock it back into defence where Takami can consolidate. And a misplaced pass from Nizam. It's going to invite Sydney FC to move plenty of chess pieces up the board, but they're not going to make a play at actually winning it back on that particular pass. Fourth official flipping over the numbers on the board. Looks as though we're going to be heading for 2 additional minutes at the end of the first half. It has been a brisk affair with just the one minor delay for Mitch Glasson to receive a bit of attention from the physio, which doesn't appear to have curtailed him since. De Jesus. One-on-one contest, and just as Kobayashi thought he'd won it away, the referee's whistle stopped his progress. And the free kick given to Sydney FC. Lots of chat going on as we eavesdrop on Jackson Tippett and the protesting Sydney FC players. So, into 2 additional minutes at the end of the first half we go. Middleton's diagonal ball, though. Easy pickings for Marks, who doesn't even wrap the gloves around the ball. He just controls it and walks it out to the edge of the penalty area. Nicholas. The hopeful diagonal ball, it's under hit. Returned by Headley, bouncing on. Glasson can go to work here. And Nicholas goes and wrestles the ball back. Kavanagh now looking for Kobayashi. He's isolated one-on-one, but the sideline was Jared Middleton's friend, and he found it immediately. Serpez concedes 10 metres on the throw-in, or 20 even. The ball back into the defensive half for Spirit. Running out of time in the first half to try and draw level before the break. Nizam. Difficult long ball to control, but still enough concern that Dyer was able to immediately sweep it away. Out for a throw-in. Nicholas. Petratos. Through the right, Serpez goes to ground, but nothing untoward about it. And so, looks as though the clock might beat Spirit here to the halftime break. And they do have some concerns because as they go in at halftime, they have scored 2 goals in their previous 6 matches in NPL Men's New South Wales, and they need at least 1 tonight if they want to leave with something. As things stand, Sydney FC with the early goal from Mitchell Glasson are looking pretty good value for their 1-0 lead. And Spirit are in need of just a more threatening presence in their attacking half. They'd love to have the ball at their feet in the attacking half a lot more than having to rely on the long ball, which was their main source of forward thrust in a first half that has failed to yield them a goal. Sydney FC through their top scorer, Mitch Glasson's 8th of the campaign, 3 of them now coming against Spirit. They are in the ascendancy. Stay with us here on the Football New South Wales YouTube channel. It's where you can watch every game, of course, of the NPL season. And at halftime in this round 18 opener on your Friday night, it is Sydney FC 1 leading Northwest Sydney Spirit 0. We'll be back with live commentary in about 10 minutes from now.
A sunny afternoon around Sydney town. Looking forward to how this game goes. Oh, jeez. I tell you what, that is plucky. Lawal just got his rump in. A wipe with a towel. We're in injury time as we speak. Still waiting for the board. I think it's going to be 1 minute of additional time. And as the ball comes inside, a goal. Well, he got himself in a lovely position. The Sky Blues. There's Lawal has got possession. Lawal now teetering in the area, has the shot, goes past Hussler. Just like the first half, he gets the opening goal. They're on the charge for another here. Abdul Rahman, dangerous, inside. Lawal, hat-trick. He's coming back and being told it's Lawal now. Works it on, here's a chance. Abdul Rahman, another goal. Check on the googling machine. Now Lawal, he's got the chance. Yep, make it 4.
This is a really important kick of the football. From 12 yards, Jack Fulton scores!
Kobayashi. Nazam peeling to his left is Kobayashi, but Nazam will take the shot and he buries it. Khan Nazam. Nazam in front of him. 1-2 from Jack Stewart. He gets a better side of him. Michael Cooter cuts it back, looking for Court, and Max Court finds the back of the net. And just like that, Apia. Kobayashi skips inside and has Fong to his right, and Cameron Fong will get to it first and can measure a nice ball in, cutback ball. Onto the penalty spot it goes, and Presley Ortiz.
Crosses back in again. Yeah, it's cleared away nicely to Tafu. Tafu drives in the shot, takes an awkward bounce. Oh, and it's gone in. A ball has gone in there. Mason to Tafu with the shot.
It's a couple of times now where they've been guilty of perhaps throwing the long ball too quickly. Muri Najjar, the flag has stayed down. A huge chance for Rockdale. Oh, yeah. Never think you know which way a game of football's going. Of course, to get one over there. Emergent enemy, that is a brilliant switch of play though. And an opportunity for Marconi to equalise. Another great save from Kane. Oh, brilliant. It's cleared away again. And then bashed in by Armson.
Now, free kick taken short. Olsen back on his feet. Curves it into the box. And it's going to be finished at the back post. Sutherland.
welcome the teams back onto the field for the second half. Sydney FC and on the Sydney Spirit FC.
Not far away from kick-off for the second half of this NPL Men's Round 18 game, opening match of the weekend on your Friday night from Linden Sports Centre. We're at half-time. Sydney FC lead at Northwest Sydney Spirit 1-0. So, both teams back out on the pitch. Referee Jackson Tippett not far away from getting proceedings restarted here. Sydney FC were out of the rooms quite a bit earlier than Spirit, who have kept them waiting. Perhaps it was Sydney coming out a bit earlier, though. It seems as though everything is running to time. And we get the second half back underway with Sydney FC attacking the left of your screens with a 1-0 lead, thanks to the player who just took the kick-off in Mitchell Glasson. Scanning around the two lineups at the start of the second half, it does appear as though there's been a half-time change, and the number 14 there in the Spirit shirt chasing after the ball, Ben Daru, is the player that's come into the game. And coming off, thanks to the ground announcer here, it's alerted me that it's Stavros Serpes who has come off. So just the one change seemingly at the half-time break, and for the visiting side in Spirit, while Sydney FC remain with the same 11 that started the game. And it looks as though to accompany that substitution at half-time, Daru here in the number 14, perhaps a bit of a positional shuffle as well in order to accommodate him in what is now seemingly a front three. No, looks like it's a front two. My apologies. So Daru and Petratos, number 14 and number 10, leading the line. Khan Nizam still sitting a little deeper in midfield, as is the number 17, Riku Kobayashi. Right now, Sydney FC are trying to probe forward, though. And here's Marin France. He hits the byline, tries to cut it back, but there were too many players in the way. Nizam clears, only as far as Glasson. He lays it on to Zach de Jesus, who was busy in the first half down the right sideline and hugging it a bit too tightly here. Sydney FC have coughed up possession, and it will be Spirit's ball down at left back, but no doubt trying to find something to hit the back of the net has been the primary concern of Spirit during the halftime break, not just because they trail 1-0 in this game, but because goals have been increasingly hard to come by over the last 6 games, plus the first half of this one, and they did have to resort to the long ball quite often in the first half due to not quite being able to match the midfield presence of Sydney FC. This is already a change of character and perhaps a bit more promising as they try to weave and pass their way through the lines. Here's Nicholas. Clipped forward. Daru. The build-up continues. Diagonal ball, hoping for Kobayashi. He's going to run onto it here. And it's nicked off his toes. Well done by Miles Milliner to keep guard over in the left-back corner for Sydney FC. Back to Marks. And he's confronted by Glasson, having strode out of his penalty area. Brady Smith. High hopeful ball. It's just going to hold up for Daru though. And behind for a corner. And I guess if you are going to play the long ball, play it like that, because that was a much better situation for Daru to get in and contest. And it's going to lead to a set-piece opportunity. And if my memory serves me correctly, Spirit only had 1 corner for the entire first half. So they'll welcome an early one here. Petrados off a short run-up. Out-swinging corner. It falls in the 6-yard box. Saved. Kobayashi denied. And it's turned off the post somehow. Corey Kavanagh has gone crashing into the post, and the ball has not hit the back of the net. Trainer out immediately. Spirit want a penalty. They probably can't believe it's not a goal. It was a close-range save to deny Kobayashi. Herfslut, great reflexes to turn it away. And then Corey Kavanagh, rather than crash the ball over the line, has crashed into the post himself. And you saw the entire goal frame rattle there. It was high impact. And you just hope that Kavanagh has not caused himself an impact injury here as the assessment continues. Let's talk about that save from Gus Herfslut. He made himself big. Kobayashi turning in the 6-yard box, firing at close range. And in terms of getting an early reward for a bit of a change in mentality and also approach from Spirit, that could have been massive for them to score only minutes into the second half. Kavanagh's on his haunches. He's up. Even the bench shouting, what's he given? And I think a throw-in is all Spirit have to show for that chaotic phase of play. And so Grant Cornwell, we'll see if he can lift a long throw into the box. No one's coming short for him. Everyone knows where it's going. Cornwell hurls it now. And even though Petrados did well to win the header, he was too far from the target for it to mean anything. And it goes out well wide. But there's just a bit of a rise in temperature, figuratively, out there on the pitch at the moment, because Spirit are really bringing a bit more aggressive intent to this second half, and they're hunting the ball here. Not quite successfully so, but I think that's a handball that's been given here against Marin France as he fell to ground. And so it's going to be a restart here for Spirit. So you wonder how long they can keep this surge of energy going for at the start of the second half, or if this is going to be a permanent change in the game, because we could be in for a very fun second half, depending on how long they can sustain this for. James Slaveski is blowing up about where the free kick is being taken from. We've got Brady Smith planting himself 5 metres offside inside the penalty box as the ball goes out to the left. It's contested in the air. Sydney FC going to be hard to launch a full field counter with no one ahead of the ball. and hooked, well, by Nicholas. It's been blocked here, and very nearly effectively so by Marin France, but eventually the ball cleared away, and then De Jesus has to swivel and turn it around the corner, out for a throw-in, out in front of the Linden club rooms on the outer side to our camera position. High diagonal ball, Kavanagh's back up and running. Kobayashi was being very closely warned by Milliner. Now he gets some separation, swings it across the slip at the key moment. Kavanagh follows up with a volley, shouts for handball. Spirit bench going spare, and the referee waves it away instantly. And the entire Spirit bench went up as one there, appealing for a handball, but the referee was pretty decisive, almost instantaneous ruling that it was okay, play on. Or watching the replay, I guess that is, if the rule is if you volley it into your own arm or hand, it's not a handball, and I think the referees perhaps implemented the laws to the letter there, and accurately so. But I'm sure it'll be of great interest post-game when players and coaches and staff alike look back at the stream. Petratos, assistant referee's flagging. Central referee hasn't seen it. Cornwell with a little body check. Now he has seen it. And, well, I suggested the temperature of this game was going up, and now we've got a bit of byplay off the ball. Petratos is booked for a collision. He's trying to get Mitchell Glasson back to his feet. And now Simon Nicholas offers the hand of friendship as well. So this game was simmering, and now it has come to the boil, very much so. Safe to say the halftime team talk, Spirit may have needed a little bit longer to get back out of the rooms onto the pitch, but they've come out looking like a totally different side. So Costa Petratos has a yellow card to his name. Nizam, Mustafi, Nicholas, you see Glasson here, he's still running around with only one boot on. He lost his shoe in the challenge from Petratos, and now he will get the chance to put that shoe back on, because he's gone to ground, but you don't see that too often, a player running around holding one shoe in his hand and still able to draw a free kick. So now Glasson has managed to put his left boot back on his foot, so he's restored his equipment. The Middletons combine. It's Lockie Middleton playing it over to Tay Headley. Sydney FC have been just absorbing from Spirit so far in this half, but if they can hit in the other direction, that would be massive. Here's Headley with a volley, and it bends wide. It's a clever pass, a little lob over the top from Glasson into the path of Headley, and he decided to let it roll across his laces to get the spin heading away from the right-hand post, but just a little bit too much. Kobayashi, Cornwell. Perhaps in two minds, eventually used his goalkeeper, Marks. Marks out to Takami. Smith. The game stops to a walk. Now Brady Smith sends it to Andre Takami. Dyer tracking the ball in the air. Cornwell. The ball fell kindly to Kobayashi. And now Cornwell cross that is headed away by Middleton. Glasson. You see the referee, clear body language, again waving it away, no foul. Simon Nicholas. Here's Costa Petratos. Wants his right side. And now sends a high ball. It's asking a lot of Cornwell. And that is going to keep running all the way down to the corner flag, but out only for a throw-in rather than a goal kick. So you see Spirit with a bit of energy pushing players up to try and trap Sydney in. Cornwell's header. Nodded on by Takami and cleared away from Kavanagh. Great technique from a spectator in the crowd to bring that ball down first time and return it to one of the assistants on the inside of the pitch. We do have, I think, 7 or 8 ball kids on tonight, which is great to see. Nizam. Drifting over to the left, working with Petratos. Mustafi. Nizam. I think he went looking for the foul there and the referee was onto him. And now Sydney counter through the right. Lancaster, the overlapping run from Headley, the cross blocked. Just a corner. Sydney FC's turn to appeal for a handball, but have even been inside the penalty area if it was. So a corner kick is the result. Barely seen anything set piece wise from Sydney FC in the game. They just haven't had the free kicks or corners to show us what they've got. So Farias and Dyer, the 2 centre backs, get forward. Only De Jesus left back, and it's going to be Lockie Middleton waiting at the edge of the penalty area. Jared Middleton is up as well. So here comes the corner kick. In swinger to the near post. Oh, it's nearly gone all the way in off the head of Cornwell. Instead, it's a corner on the opposite side. Bit of a miscommunication maybe between the goalkeeper and the defender at the near post. And it was a glance off the head of Cornwell, and for one heart-stopping split second, it looked like it may have been nestling in the opposite bottom corner, but it went wide. And it's a corner from the opposite side now for Sydney FC. Headley's corner, high to the back post. Marks is up, and a good confident claim this time. No fuss, and able to defuse the danger and roll it out to Nicholas. Sydney FC hustling back in numbers though, and so no chance of a quick counter attack. As we get closer, well, we're just past the hour mark. In fact, Sydney FC have gone and sent the entire bench to go and warm up. Kavanagh. Challenge was crunching, coming in from Daru, and the referee thinks that it has crossed the line, so free kick given as he slid in on Marin France. If you've only joined us over the course of the night, almost 1,000 with us live on YouTube for the sole game in NPL Men's New South Wales tonight. Great to have your company. The only goal of the game from Mitch Glasson in the early exchanges of the first half. Sydney FC holding that 1-0 lead ever since. Here's Headley. His attempts to play through the left channel blocked. Middleton knocked away from him. Daru. And Takami. Nizam, the most advanced player for Spirit. He'll look up at Dyer here, and, well, the backtracking. De Jesus was able to pick his pocket coming in from the blind side, and he did very nicely. France now looking for De Jesus, and it's cleared away from him. Nicholas down the line. Mustafi, Nizam, and Petratos. Kavanagh. Here's Petratos to the edge of the box. Cornwell. Petratos contesting against Jared Middleton, and in spite of appeals for a corner and for a foul, there is no such luck for Spirit. They are readying a double substitution, so one change at half-time. It looks like there's going to be more here. I think that's Corey Kavanagh who's taken a seat in the centre circle. We saw him treated earlier in the half when he crashed into the post with what was so far Spirit's best chance to score level in the game. And so the trainer will come out, and you wonder if this was one of the prepared substitutions or if they're going to have to make adjustments on the fly here. Zane Halawalia is one of the players coming on, and Sam Armson the other. So I suspect if it's Corey Kavanagh making way, Armson might be a like-for-like change. And so here comes the double sub. Khan Nizam's number is up. Scored last week, but hasn't really had much of an opportunity tonight. Think back to one bending shot in the first half that caught a deflection out for a corner kick. And so Zane Alawalia comes on for Khan Nizam. And we still wait here for Sam Armson to come on, as seemingly Corey Kavanagh is making a beeline for the rooms over on the outer side of the pitch. He will go straight up the tunnel, and hopefully there are no long-term effects of the blow that he took earlier in the half tonight, and it simply means an early end to tonight rather than having to miss anything beyond this weekend. So 3 changes now made by Spirit. Sydney FC still yet to turn to their bench. They are in a 1-0 lead, and they've held it for much of the night. Headley confronted by Cornwell. Cornwell trying to use his seniority just to bash the ball away, but Sydney FC have been able to consolidate and counter. Here's Marin France building ahead of steam. He shoots on his left and puts it wide. And that was the first time tonight we've really seen Marin France in full flight. He was able to work through the gears there and took an attempt on goal. And we had the angle here to watch it go agonisingly wide of the bottom right corner. Petratos. Surrounded by Sydney FC midfielders, and eventually Jared Middleton comes through and wins the ball. Sam Lancaster. Now Headley. Headley trying to play through the left, but the ball is blocked away from Miles Milliner, who was getting forward there, the left back. Don't think he's left his team one short here, because Headley has essentially stepped into his position to cover, and now they'll swap, and Milliner will return to more familiar surrounds. Petratos back to goal, hard work, and now sent out to the right. Kobayashi, great touch off the chest. He's 1-on-1 against Milliner here. Kobayashi felled, And it looks as though he's going to be awarded a free kick right where the penalty area meets the byline. Just outside the box. And that was Riku Kobayashi able to take the game on there. It's almost like a short corner where the free kick is going to be taken from here. Can Spirit get it right and execute for an equaliser? Lots of shouting in the penalty area. Huge pack of players circulating around the edge of the 6-yard box. So, moment of truth. Here comes the free kick, and it's blasted through the penalty area and all the way down to the opposite corner flag. Real disappointment there from Sam Armson. Threw his head back in disappointment after overhitting the ball, but the attack stays alive. And now Alawalia, the other sub, appealing for handball on the block, but it was Lockie Middleton. He was able to block the ball, and now he's running in the other direction. Sydney FC trying to break. Lancaster clips it on. Glasson goes wide, and the flag is up against Glasson, offside. Sydney FC perhaps a little bit too excited there as they all flooded forward there, having blocked that cross into the area away. Takami. Petratos. Cornwell. Kobayashi. Takami. Beautiful bending ball. Kobayashi. Alawalia. Lifts the cross to the back post, and the header is saved. Cornwell getting forward. He's been far more prominent breaking into the box in this second half. He's playing, you'd have to think, more of a midfield role with license to break forward. And he got up there for the header, but it was held onto by Guffs Herfslet. Good positioning by the goalkeeper. And in exactly the right spot to make a catching save rather than need a parry. And with so many players inside the penalty area, a parry would have almost certainly invited on a follow-up. Cornwell now. Alawalia. Brady Smith. Bending ball. Volleyed away by Dyer. Kobayashi. Cornwell. Back to Kobayashi. Resumes his duel with Milliner. And Milliner knocks it out for a throw-in. So we saw the long throw earlier in the half. Cornwell is going to be tempted to take a quick throw in, but now he steps out his run-up. Right up to the paint of the line. He hurls it into the box, headed down to the edge of the area, and then a roundhouse volley away from Lachlan Middleton to clear. Only as far as Smith. Caitlin Marshall-Witt is going to be coming on soon. He's been deployed as a fullback in the games I've seen him live in person this season, so maybe left or right back is about to get their number called. Here's Glasson in the meantime. Dreams of scoring from halfway, but didn't strike it with the necessary power. We've ticked into the final 20 minutes all of a sudden. The night is starting to get along. It's been an up-tempo second half. There's not really been any game drifting as Spirit chase an equaliser here. And this time, shouts for handball are answered for Rios. So here comes the change, and it is left back where Sydney FC will make their first substitution of the night. Miles Milliner comes to the sideline, and Kaylin Marshall-Witt is going to come on here. So Sydney FC rolling with only 6 on the bench tonight, 5 outfielders, and we've seen the first of them come on in Marshall-Witt. Still got Tay Headley helping him out over there on the left side of defence, and he's going to need to get involved straight away here because Cornwell is chasing the ball towards the line, but the assistant is flagging, and the ball is run long. I think back to when Sydney FC beat Marconi here earlier in the season. It was a game where they were willing to play a back five, they were willing to defend and play in a manner that held on against a Marconi team that were trying to throw everything they could at them. Are we going to see something similar here where any pretensions of attacking are limited purely to the counter as Sydney FC try to collect a 1-0 win? Of course, we're getting closer to both the transfer window and also the rest period for any players on A-League scholarships, so we're only a week or two away really from all A-League Academy teams and every NPL around the country starting to look considerably different. Some players out there will know that tonight might be their last NPL appearance of the season before they get summoned into A-League pre-season off the back of a break. Everyone trying to make the most of holding this lead. Here's Tay Headley. Clips the ball through the penalty area. De Jesus making a contest against Mustafi. Mustafi stuck with the ball down in the corner. Now it's cleared away as company arrives. Sydney FC won't mind that though. They're down back in the attacking end, having had to face a lot of Spirit pressure so far in this half. And again, a second goal against the run would be a dagger. Here's Middleton. Lachlan Middleton slides it on. France goes to ground, and the referee, he's been all over these contentious calls tonight and very decisive in his decision making. And again, the big wave of the arms to say no penalty, no foul. And Spirit in a bit of trouble right down on the byline. Eventually, Marks clears away. Petratos. Here's Lancaster. Sydney happy to just knock the ball around here. Spirit pushing their defensive line up. Kalen Marshall-Witt is hanging off the last defender over on the left, so no thoughts of a back five in possession, that's for sure. Still sending their left-sided defender and their right-sided defender in Zach De Jesus up almost as full-time wingers when they're on the ball here. And here is De Jesus now. Sydney FC perhaps sensing the chance to go hunting for a second. Lancaster plays it to Glasson. Edge of the box, Headley, Glasson. Tried to just brute force his way through. Maybe looking for a corner rather than a teammate. And that's exactly what he's got. Well, it was so noticeable there how Sydney FC were willing to commit both their wing-backs forward to hang off the last defender on either side of the pitch. So they are not sitting back on 1-0 at the moment. Corner taken short. Clipped into the box. Marks up for an easy catch. He's only got Kobayashi really to release to. And he decides against it. He would have had to ping it perfectly to halfway against the sideline. And instead, he rolls it out to Nicholas. Now Petratos. Still Costa Petratos allowed to run, and he veers right and he shoots from distance, and it's saved away. Herfslut slowly but surely got down. He initially took the sidestep and then committed to the dive, and he made sure of it by parrying it around the post well wide of the target and out for a corner kick. And Petratos, off the back of earning the corner, takes it now. Out-swinging corner, falls in the penalty area, but that's beautifully done by Marshall-Witt to bring it to ground. And now Headley stepping through midfield and switching out to the right. Glasson. De Jesus is waiting at the top of the box, but Glasson's going to leave it with France. Marin France curving it in. Kobayashi with a header away. Here's Lancaster, and play whistled to a stop. There was a foul underneath the cross. Referee signalling it was a push, and we're going to see Kaya Williams come on here and replace Grant Cornwell for NWS Spirit. Cornwell, who had that header on target, which was saved by Gus Herfslut earlier in the half and has been throwing himself forward. But this might prompt releasing of players into new roles here as Spirit look to continue committing numbers forward. Cornwell walks around the perimeter of the field as the number 3, Kaya Williams, Spirit's 4th change of the game, is into the action.
Number 3, Kaya Williams has come on to replace number 8,
Brady Smith looking for the new arrival, Kaya Williams. What a good run. He cuts it across. It bounces awkwardly and it bowls over Ben Daru. What a good chance for Spirit. And it was immediate impact off the bench from Kaya Williams. And Ben Daru just couldn't read the bounce. Well, it was a shin height. It was asking for a volley rather than maybe a trap, and Daru just couldn't find it. So here's Williams again. Marshall Witt heads away. Williams, Petratos, and a deflected cross, and it's a corner kick. Williams, another player that has a bit of height to him. Cornwell also very good in the air, the player he's come on for. So short corner, taken to the edge of the box. Here's Takami off the head of De Jesus. It's going to fall to a teammate in Glassick. And now Glasson. And possession seized upon here by Armson. Petratos. Over to Alawalia. Williams. And he's biding his time here. And Smith pops it into space. Alawalia has continued his run diagonally across the pitch. He hits the line, loops in a high cross. And it was Jared Middleton who read it best in the air. He volleyed it away. Headley has got Glasson here. Mitch Glasson, deflected crossfield ball. He was trying to drive it back towards Headley, and also Marin France, who was breaking forward. The game being stretched, end-to-end stuff at the moment. Here's Mustafi getting forward. Mustafi with a left-footed cross, and it sits up here for Kobayashi, but he can't control it initially. And it heads out towards the sideline for another corner. Sydney readying another sub. It's going to be Zach Fowler, but they don't want to make the change while defending a corner kick. High looping corner. Half volleyed away, and now the volley from the edge of the box. Sam Armson. Well, it ended up off target because it took a deflection, so it is going to be consecutive corners. So we wait for the corner for Spirit. Another high looping corner to the back post. Difficult to do anything with it. And this time it's out for a goal kick. Well, whether it's execution or the strategy, the high corners haven't quite worked out for Spirit so far. And now we're going to see a substitution. Marin France is going to make way. And Zach Fowler in the number 9 shirt is coming on. Plenty of time being taken over the restart here by Gus Herfslut. We've ticked into the final 10 minutes of regulation time. haven't been any significant stoppages in this second half either. Petratos watches the ball rear up, and he's gone crashed into by Middleton, who hit the ground hard and then bounced right back up. And now he lumbers back to the centre of defence. In the meantime, the ball is sliced. Petratos trying to capitalise. Daru knocked off his feet. Well, it was nearly a giveaway from Sydney FC that was quite costly, but instead they're going to escape unscathed. And now De Jesus, was he body checked? Maybe he went hunting for it against Mustafi. And so no foul given, and Spirit have possession back. That cross that came into the box, it was volleyed straight to Petratos at the edge of the penalty area. That would have been quite the giveaway had it ended up in the back of the net, but all's well that ends well for Sydney FC as they continue to hold on. Long ball from Nicholas. Williams. Fowler able to stop it, finding Kobayashi. Williams commits to the ball. Help from Smith. Brady Smith. Back to Williams. Smith again. Oh, not on the same wavelength as Takami. And that's going to invite Herfslet out of his line to collect the ball. Fifth and final sub on the way here for Spirit. It's going to be Tom Mason at the next interval in play. Herfslet skies the ball. It's going to land just inside the attacking half. And now volleyed forward for Sydney FC. Dealt with by Williams. Nicholas. Armson turns in midfield. Sam Armson on the run here. Sends it left. Petratos. A little step over. And now he engages the defender and isn't getting a great deal of progress. Now he extracts across. Kobayashi denied. And a big swinger to follow up. And it's saved by Herfslet at the feet of Daru. Well, a few people had a nibble at it there for Spirit, and none of them could strike a decisive goal-bound touch. And Sydney FC's goal is now living a charmed life. There's a couple of big scrambles they've had here, and they just haven't been able to put it in the net. Fifth and final change comes, and leaving the game is Andre Takami. And on comes Thomas Mason for the final 5 minutes or so, plus stoppage. Herfslet back on his feet. He's all right. Sydney FC are summoning another sub. They're going to have one coming soon. Looks like it's going to be Jordan Grorowski. They continue to hold on here. Spirit have done enough to score in this second half. And if they had been able to score one of the earlier chances, they might feel as though they've done enough to win this game. Never mind simply equalise, and yet they still look at a 1-0 deficit as the clock starts running down. Jared Middleton. High clearance. Fowler. Tried to win the ball on a half volley, but it's cleared away from him by Armson. Out to Kobayashi. Kobayashi, a sweeping ball. Daru touches it down and then sliced away by Lancaster, but it caught a deflection. Out for a goal kick. And he hopes that it may have been a corner was short-lived, and that one has gone right into the construction site. So ball kit expertise will be needed to retrieve that one. And that's going to allow Sydney FC to bring on Jordan Grorowski here. And the player he is replacing is going to be Zach De Jesus, who's had a very busy game over on the right side of defence, but he'll take his leave with only minutes to go on the clock and the clean sheet intact. And I think that's going to prompt a reshuffle, because it's definitely not like for like. Grorowski a forward coming on for a right back in De Jesus. And here's the restart of play. Mustafi almost caught in possession by the new player in Grorowski. way back to Marks. Brady Smith. Looks as though Mitch Glasson's been put in at right back now. The goal scorer has moved all the way down to the last line of defence. Smith up the middle. Farias rises to the header. Marshall Witt, well, late contact in midfield leads to a free kick, so Brady Smith getting clattered after playing that pass means that Spirit will have a dead ball inside the centre circle. And it's another opportunity to commit plenty of numbers forward. 9 ahead of the ball at this free kick. Here it comes from Nicholas. Petratos up and attempting an improvised overhead kick there. Not so much a full bicycle as it was just an attempt to flick it on from Mason. And he has succeeded in volleying it well wide of the target. Finish line in sight for Sydney FC. Fourth official will be hoisting the board soon with how many minutes of stoppage remain in the game. Not expecting it to be a huge number either. In fact, I'd be shocked if it's anything more than 4. Smith. Alawalia. Brady Smith, and through comes Jared Middleton. Volley taken down, nicely done by Mustafi. And the one-on-one defending of Glasson is able to win the ball away. Ball through the left side of the area. Daru tries to turn it back towards the middle. Ball stays in against the line. Alawalia lifts in across. It's going to bounce. Punched away by Herfslut. He reached out, and the reach was crucial as his gloves were able to get to the ball before anyone else. Spirit out to the left as they look to venture forward one more time. Alawalia clips it to the penalty spot. Daru surrounded by defenders. Here's Mustafi. Here's cross blocked. Alawalia. Square ball. Over to Williams. Williams bides his time. Nicholas. Arms it into the box. It's going to bounce on. And Fowler clears it away. 5 additional minutes. So a nice, generous interpretation for Spirit as they chase an equaliser here. And Fowler, the whistle's gone here. Fowler and Williams getting into a tangle. And the referee has said it's a handball against Williams. So this will be agony here for Spirit, because anytime the ball stops and it's Sydney FC's possession, they are going to pull up the handbrake here and wind every second they've got. This result would be moving them level on points with 6th place in the league. It is an absolute logjam through the middle of the table, so don't expect them to be there by the end of the weekend sitting in 7th, but this is as good as they can do tonight to move back level with Wanderers on points, albeit well behind them on goal difference. Long ball running down towards the line for a goal kick, and indeed it squirms out, but probably successfully wasted about 45 seconds off those 5 additional minutes. Switch over to the right. Smith clips it down towards Kobayashi and headed away by Marshall Witt. No more Grant Cornwell, so they don't have an alternative long throw plan. Instead, the throw in. Kobayashi back to Smith. First time cross. And Petratos is up. And his header doesn't have the power. It just runs down to the line. And Herfslid is even going to take it down to the corner of the penalty area before he picks it up. How many more good chances can the Spirit create before they run out of time? Herfslid catches this one a little bit more flush, and it's up to the edge of the attacking third. Grorowski providing a target here, squares it over to Tay Headley. Headley to make it 2, it deflects out, and a corner kick is the result. Simon Nicholas deflecting it off the shins, and Sydney FC again will be able to slow to a walk as they take the ball down to the corner. Referee's going to now start policing how long this is all taking. Can't help but think that rather than brandish cards, maybe just adding on additional time beyond the 5 minutes is the best way to punish any of this. And the ball is short-lived down in the corner regardless, and out for a goal kick. But Spirit on a night where it just hasn't gone for them. Their best chances have been denied in goal-mouth scrambles. And they just haven't had the frequency of creating good quality chances to find a way back into the game. Are they going to run out of time here? Nicholas lofts it. Middleton up with a great header, Jared Middleton, and now Glasson just kicks to clear. Marks well out of his line. Here's Williams. Mason. Kobayashi. Smith looking for Mason. It's a corner. And Chris Marks has been summoned. Corner taken short. Goalkeeper didn't have time to get down into the box, so it's been cleared here. Simon Nicholas. And now Mason. Can he pop it back onto a teammate's head? In it comes. And Farias wins the header. Grorowski at the fall of the ball. Nicked off his toes, though. Nicholas drifts it to the penalty spot. Good repelling header from Jared Middleton again. Everyone back defending for Sydney FC as they hold on to the advantage. Petratos. Alawalia. Well, his first time ball is blocked away. And it is going to be a throw in, but no thoughts of a long throw. Straight to Petratos. And now Williams. Who's going to put it in the area? Back to Marks inside the defensive half. Sydney FC defensive line across the top of the penalty area. Nicholas tries to drop it on a teammate. And again, Jared Middleton wins it in the air. Marshall Witt commits to the ball and lobs it over the fence. And out for a throw-in. Petratos, and now cleared away from him by Lockie Middleton. Marks it halfway. Plays it over to Nicholas. Nicholas pops it up, but it's all Sydney FC at the fall of the ball. Marshall Witt, a hard-won header. He has to bounce back to his feet. Through comes Fowler. Shouts it for handball. Maybe had some merit, but play continues, and the referee may well have been blindsided anyway. Fowler just knocks it down into the attacking half, and Williams retrieves the ball. We've gone beyond the additional 5 minutes. It's entirely at the discretion of the referee from here. He takes a look at the watch. Maybe one last long ball here for Spirit. Marks. It all needs to go right for Spirit from here, and as the ball is cleared away, Farias has bombed it down to the opposite corner. Glasson's off chasing after it, trying to keep it in. And he seemingly succeeded in doing so, but he had company, and he's conceded a foul. And it's a yellow card as well for Mitch Glasson right at the end of the night. But the free kick has to be taken from all the way down in defence for Spirit. So they're playing on borrowed time here. This would be the latest of late equalisers if they can grab one on this forward 4-8. Another good defensive header away from Dyer. Petratos wheels onto the ball. Nicholas. Simon Nicholas gets a bit of momentum up on the cross, and a good defensive header away. Lancaster out to the sideline. Smith Underlapping run from Aluwalia. It's going to bounce to the top of the box, but it finds Tay Headley, and his clearance brings an end to the game. Sydney FC scored early and have held that 1-0 advantage right to the end of the night. They jump up to 7th on the table to start round 18. And Spirit lose ground in the race for the finals, and their dry run in front of goal, they were luckless tonight, but it is now 2 goals in their last 7 games, and that is a massive thing that they will have to fix in the remaining games of the season if they want to revive their finals charge. Sydney FC, they've bounced back from a 6-0 defeat a week ago with a clean sheet and 3 points, and they will leave happy thanks to Mitch Glasson's header in the first 15 minutes of play. Thanks for your company tonight. Enjoy the rest of the weekend right here on the Football New South Wales YouTube channel. My name's Teo Pellizzeri, and on behalf of our broadcast partner Sportscast Australia, thanks for your company on the opening game of round 18. We leave you from the Linden Sports Centre with a full-time score of Sydney FC 1, NWS Spirit 0. Good night.